To On the Money right here on WDBO. My name is Greg Rhodes, joined today by the people of Certified Financial Group, the people who are planning your financial future, making your tomorrow just a little bit better than your today. Joining us today, we have Aaron and Joe Bert, Certified Financial Planners with the Certified Financial Group. And you know by now that for more than 30 years, the professionals at Certified Financial Group have been answering your questions here for you every week on WDBO's On the Money. They've become Central Florida's most listened to financial call-in program, and it's the only call-in program where the hosts are certified financial planners. And again, we have Joe and Aaron Bert today.
Good morning, Greg. Good to be with you. I like your enthusiasm there, my friend.
It's an exciting morning, right?
Oh, exciting morning. Good to be with you. Yeah, Aaron and I are here to take calls, as we have now for more than 30 years. As we say in the intro, this is not a one-hour infomercial. This is here to help you. Aaron and I and the 15 other certified financial planners do retirement planning and investment management for a fee on Monday through Friday. But in the mornings on Saturday, and if it's recorded on Sunday, we are here for you absolutely free. So if you have any things that's on your mind regarding your personal finances, things that you've been trying to figure out, things you've heard, rumors you have, things you're concerned about, we are here to kind of clean up the mind fog regarding those situations. So the good news for you is all you have to do is pick up the phone and dial these magic numbers, and those numbers are.
Yep, those numbers are 844-580-9326. That's 844-580-WDBO, or you can utilize the open mic feature using the WDBO app. And don't forget, you can also call Charles Curry, who's taking calls offline at 407-869-9800. And today's topic is Secure Act 2.0 and other changes coming in 2025.
They just keep on coming, right, Aaron?
Yeah, so this topic obviously is timely with this being the last weekend of 2020, and I don't even know where this year went. It seems like 2023 was...
you wait.
We were just rolling into 2024, and then the next thing you know, we had an election, and we had the build up to that, and everything that happened in 2024. Actually, that would have been a good topic, is what happened. Anyway, we're not going there. We're going to talk about what's coming in 2025. And we're going to talk about the things that we see. And really, the interesting thing is the Secure Act was passed several years back. This is Secure Act 2.0, so this is the second iteration of the Secure Act. And there was a lot of things in there that were phased in. And, you know, we talk about the government and them passing laws and changing things. And this is one of those examples where a law was passed, but not a lot of thought of impact went into this. And so we're talking about today, one of the things that people probably aren't aware of is the new provision of a super catch-up for those people that are contributing to 401k plans or retirement plans to their employer.
That's not to be confused with super mustard or mayonnaise.
Yes, that's correct.
This is super ketchup.
Super ketchup.
Got it.
So the super catch. So right now in 2024, those people that are contributing to retirement plans, if you're over the age of 50, you can do what's called the catch-up. And the catch-up allows you to put extra money above and beyond your regular retirement plan contributions. And what was the number for 20? I'm going to go
23,000.
23,000. If you were less than 50 years old, is the maximum that you could have contributed into your retirement plan for 2024.
That's your 401k, 403b, or 457.
Correct. And then they had the catch-up amount. And what was the catch-up amount?
Catch-up amount was 7,000.
7,000. So it's
7,500.
So a total amount of $30,500 for 2024 if you were the age of 50 or older. And the government said, well, that's not good enough, right? And so now they've created the super catch-up. And the super catch-up allows people who are ages 60 through 63, which is really, really random ages that they put in there, to contribute an additional, what's the dollar amount?
$11,250 total.
An additional $37.50. So for a total of $11,250 for those people who are the ages of 60 through 63 in 2025 going forward.
Right.
The reason I say this
makes no sense.
Yeah, well, it doesn't.
Well,
it makes sense, but at the end of the day, you have to create systems and software and teach people and train about all these changes that are coming down the road for a group of people that it just impacts for 3 years, and then you can no longer. It's very odd, and I don't think our legislators understand the impact of these changes that they make. It sounds great. But there's a lot of work then that has to go in to implement these kind of changes just so you can save an additional $37.50 per year for those people that are 60 through 63 starting in 2025 going forward.
Yes, so you look at, why 60 through 63 goes back to why 59 and a half and no penalty on IRAs, and then it was 70 and a half and no penalty on the 401ks, and that's when you take your
required minimum distributions, but now it's 75, and
73 going to 75. It's enough to drive software engineers crazy, and just enough to drive certified financial planners crazy. But thank God we have good software to be able to help us figure that stuff out, because it's ever changing.
Right. And this is the reason why, a lot of people don't probably know this stuff, which is why I'm bringing it up today, is because you probably, if you're working for your employer, they're not probably doing a good job of educating you on the super catch-up options and the $37.50 additional that you can put into your retirement plan. And oh, by the way, that's tax deferred, so now you're saving some money. So if you're in one of the higher tax brackets, you could be saving an additional $1,000 a year in taxes. Again, starting next year. This isn't this year. This is starting next year. But just for those 3 years from 60 to 63. And my guess is they're probably going to index it, so that $37.50.
No.
It's not going to be indexed?
No.
Oh, I bet it's indexed.
No. You want to bet? All right.
No. Well, everything else is indexed.
Right.
The catch-up's indexed. The regular 401k contributions are indexed. I'm betting the super catch-up's going to be an indexed amount going forward.
We'll see.
But we'll see.
We'll see.
And whether or not it even sticks around.
Yeah.
So, again, this is something that was put into the Secure Act 2.0 that is not phased in until 2025. There's several other things that are going to be phased in the years going forward in the future, but those things are not going to be talked about today because they don't go into effect in 2025. The other things that are happening in 2025, though, is all the contribution limits change. So a lot of people don't realize, or maybe they do, I don't know, but that the 401k, and this is what we were just talking about, indexing, all the 401k contribution limits change, your health savings account contribution limits change, your catch-up amount contributions change, your gifting limits change, the estate tax limitations change. All these numbers change every year because a lot of them are indexed, which is great because they're indexed, which means that you can take advantage of those increased numbers for savings purposes. But it's not so great because we got to memorize all this stuff and create new cheat sheets and all that stuff going forward. So for those people that are interested, so let's just talk real quick about what some of these numbers are. The 401k change wasn't that significant for 2024. The amount that you can put into retirement plan, 401k, 403b, 457, or a thrift savings account through the government, if you were less than 50, was $23,000. They indexed it a whopping $500. So in 2025, it's going to be $23,500. So again, this is one of those things where everyone has to change all their systems, especially on like a 401k record keeping system, to now accommodate for that extra $500 that you can kick in. The IRA contribution limit will continue to be $7,000 in 2025. So they did not index IRA contributions, which I thought was pretty interesting. 50 or older, the catch-up contribution, it's going to be $7,500 in 2025. What is it in 2024? Is it 7,000? So they indexed that additional $500.
No, $7,500. The catch-up is $7,500 for 2024. No.
Okay, so that's still the same.
It's moving fast here, folks.
Yeah.
Pay attention.
HSA contributions, they did change that. So it went from $8,300 for a family to $8,550 in 2025. And if you're 55 or older for HSAs, you can put in an additional $1,000. So it's not 50, it's 55. So these are different ages where they put in different catch-up amounts.
Now, I know you're a big fan of the HSA. Tell me why.
I do love HSAs.
Tell me.
Because that is the only thing that you can put money into that has triple tax savings.
Which are?
You can put money in and get a tax deduction.
All right.
That's one.
One.
It grows without being taxed.
That's two.
And you can pull it out tax-free for medical expenses.
There's no other plan that allows you to put the money in tax deductible, allow the money to grow without taxes, and take it out tax-free.
That's right.
However, there is a caveat on taking it out. You can't use it to buy that new boat or anything, right?
You got to use it for qualified medical expenses. However, you are able to reimburse yourself for any medical expenses that you accumulate over the years.
So how do we do that?
So what we encourage clients to do is max out your HSA.
Okay.
Don't spend it if you don't need to for healthcare stuff.
Right.
Okay, so save it for retirement or later on down the road. And then you can reimburse yourself with all those expenses that you've used for medical. So if you're buying prescriptions, put your receipt in a box. If you go to the doctor and you have a copay, put the receipt in the box. If you have a procedure, put the receipts in the box. And then later on down the road, if you choose to, you can reimburse yourself for those expenses.
You take out the money tax-free.
Take out the money tax-free.
There you
so
go.
It's like the benefits of a traditional IRA and a Roth IRA all combined into one. So I would almost rather put money into an HSA than an IRA or a 401k if I was choosing between any of the three because of the triple tax savings of the health savings account.
However, your investment options are sometimes limited, right?
Depending on who your HSA provider
There you
is.
go.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
So if you have one through your employer and they're limiting you to who you can put money in through payroll deduction, then yes, you're limited. You'd have to know whether or not they have investment options. The HSA is not a great thing if it just goes into an account and sits there in cash, but there are some providers out there that allow you to fully invest it. Doesn't have to sit in cash, and you can take advantage of that.
So you put in a mutual fund for growth,
Correct.
allow it to grow for many, many years,
Correct.
growing tax-free.
Then you have a big tax-free pot of money for healthcare expenses later on down the road.
So you got the tax deduction going in, accumulates without being taxed, and take it out tax-free.
Sounds like a good deal to me.
It is a good deal. The key is, though, you have to have it invested in something that'll give you some growth. Don't let it sit in a 2 or 3% savings account because it's okay, but it's not as good as growing at a reasonable rate of return over many years. Could be a big pile of money. So that's the HSA. And so I cut you off midstream here. What
No,
else
that's
was
all
I
right.
saying?
We're just talking
okay.
about
That's
stuff.
all right.
So
Okay.
they index the HSA.
Yep.
All the tax brackets got indexed. So your marginal tax bracket are all indexed for inflation. So now everything shifts up. I'm not going to go through all of those because all the numbers moved, but just to know that your marginal tax brackets have shifted. Standard deduction went up. That was a big part of the Trump tax cuts back in, what year was that? 2017? 2018?
Mm-hmm. Something like that.
So those are due to sunset after this year. The hope is that those will get extended. So that standard deduction amount has gone up for this year. If they don't pass new legislation, then that whole thing actually shifts back down starting in 2026, assuming it doesn't get renewed. Bunch of tax credits were increased. What else went up? I wanted to see the gifting.
Yeah, 19,000.
Annual gift tax exclusion went from $18,000 for 2024 to $19,000 for 2025. What does that mean? That means that you can give away $19,000 to anybody that you want, and not have to report it on your income taxes. So if you give away more than, let's say you give $20,000 to somebody, theoretically you're supposed to report that on your tax return. It's not taxable to you unless you've given away up to the gift tax exemption, which is like right now over, what is that?
18,000.
No, 13 million.
You're talking about the total exemption.
Yeah, the total exemption now is almost $14 million.
Yep.
So unless you've given away over $14 million, that gift wouldn't be taxable to you. However, you do need to report it.
Yep.
So all these little things, which is what keeps us in business, answering these types of questions for clients when they call us, answering your questions on the radio, and making sure that people are aware of all these changes that occur every year, so that they know that they can take full advantage of the changes in the tax laws, the change in the shifts in the indexing for healthcare savings accounts, 401ks, IRAs, and all that other stuff that changes every year. So our wonderful government trying to help us out by indexing stuff, but at the end of the day, creating headaches for us to make sure that we're on top of it. But that's what we do.
So I think the key takeaway is for those that are 60 or 60 through 63 by December 31st to do that super catch-up, and it'll allow you to put a maximum of $34,750 into your 401k, 403b, or 457 plan. So, but you need to tell HR, good week to do it, because payroll's starting the week after next. And you get those things in place because these opportunities to take, and this is the cleanest tax deduction. If people come in to see us, they're bemoaning the fact they're paying so much in taxes. Then we find out they're not using their retirement plan to the max. I mean, that is by far and away the best thing you can do to build long-term financial security, as we've said time and time again. Because if you don't save for yourself, the only thing you'll have at retirement is your Social Security, and that ain't a lot of money. So what you're able to put away now, and that's why the government creates these incentives for you and me to be putting money in and to get a tax deduction for it, allow it to grow tax deferred, and when you take it out, of course, it's taxable unless you put it in the HSA, as you said. And you may want to use the HSA if you have an investment account over and above your 401k. Or, you can use it in addition to, but if you're short on cash, put it in the HSA because you get that. But you got to discipline yourself not to use it.
Yeah,
it's
that's the key.
like any retirement plan. You don't want to use it before you have to.
That's right.
So those are all the things you have to consider. And there's the changes coming up for 2025 and beyond. And we hope that the tax law is new tax law coming down the pike this year, that all that stuff will be grandfathered and made permanent as opposed to temporary like we have right now with the changes in tax deductions and tax rates and estate taxes. It's due to expire at the end of this year. So it's going to be an interesting legislative year, particularly in the first quarter as the sausage is being made in Washington. So I hear the bumper music there. Greg, take it away.
That's right. And that was a lot of great information. If you do have any questions, don't be shy regarding our topic today. Just give us a call, or any other financial questions that you might have. Again, just give us a call here at 844-580-9326. That's 844-580-WDBO. Or you can use the open mic in the WDBO app. You're listening to On the Money, where we're planning tomorrow
Today
with the Certified Financial Group.
For more than 40 years, our certified financial planner professionals, acting as fiduciaries, have been providing retirement planning and asset management for a fee to countless families across Central Florida.
We've been with Certified since 1992.
We're now into the third or fourth generation of clients that have come to CFG and the team here to do a great job.
It's been so long since I've been doing this that I just don't even worry about anything anymore.
We're a certified financial group, but we're planning tomorrow, today. Our fiduciary approach of providing retirement planning and investment management for a fee seems to resonate with our clients. But don't take my word for it.
I knew a gentleman that I worked with who had come to Certified Financial Group.
A friend of mine recommended them, and they were totally correct how good they are.
I had heard from somebody else that it was the best one in town.
I've sent several of my teacher friends here.
We're a certified financial group, but we're planning tomorrow, today. You may be new to the area, but we're not. For more than 40 years, our certified financial planner professionals, acting as fiduciaries and providing retirement planning and asset management for a fee to countless families across Central Florida.
We've been with Certified since 1992.
We're now into the third or fourth generation of clients that have come to CFG and the team here to do a great job.
It's been so long since I've been doing this that I just don't even worry about anything anymore.
We're a certified financial group, but we're planning tomorrow, today. Black Monday, the dot-com bust, 9/11, and now 2 wars. We've pretty much seen it all. Acting as fiduciaries, our CFP professionals have been a steady hand guiding our clients to and through their retirement years.
No reason to be worried about anything.
Stay the course. You stay the course, and you get there.
I don't have to worry about it like I know a lot of people look at it every day. I don't have to do that with the team here at Certified Financial Group.
We're a certified financial group, but we're planning tomorrow, today. Are you tired of trying to reach your advisor through a call center and being put on hold for 20 minutes? That's why we don't use one, and our clients seem to appreciate the personal touch.
They always answer my questions and really care about what's going on with me.
You can trust what they say, and they do what they say, and it gives you a comfort feeling it's hard to find in the world today.
Waiting for you to call almost. You almost feel like that.
We're a certified financial group, but we're planning tomorrow, today.
As an investor, you want peace of mind. You need to know that your advisor is not only thoroughly competent, but also a fiduciary. In other words, he or she is acting at all times in your best interests. You need to trust your advisor, regardless of how much money you have to invest or what part of the world you're in. It might not be your money you're entrusting the advisor with. Perhaps you're a board member of a charity or foundation whose future depends on prudent investment. Or perhaps you have the responsibility of making investment decisions on behalf of other people. As the trustee of a retirement plan, the decisions you make can have a direct impact on the lives of your employees. Whatever type of investor you are, the solution is to use an advisor certified by the Center for Fiduciary Excellence. A CFEX certified advisory firm demonstrates its adherence to a global fiduciary standard of excellence, a defined standard with specific criteria covering 21 best practices. The documented, repeatable processes and the evidence-based decision-making that CFEX demands are more likely to generate investment portfolios that match client needs and expectations. And because the firm voluntarily agrees to a rigorous annual audit, investors can rest assured that their advisor continues to work to the highest professional standards. This independent verification is even more critical for trustees and investment committee members of retirement plans who are legally required to conduct regular due diligence on their service providers. Use a CFEX certified firm, and that job has been done already by an expert at no expense to the plan. So why leave anything to chance? Insist on working with investment professionals you can truly trust. Insist on using a CFEX certified advisor.
Welcome back to On the Money here on WDBO, 107.3 FM and AM 580. You can also listen live on the WDBO app wherever you are. Today we have Joe and Aaron Bert from the Certified Financial Group. And if you have any questions about your finances, just give us a call here at 844-580-9326. That's 844-580-WDBO. Or you can utilize the open mic feature in the WDBO app. We've also got Charles Curry taking your calls offline at 407-869-9800 if you'd prefer. And now back to Joe and Aaron. And guys, I think we've got a caller here too if you'd like to take it.
Let's do it. Good morning, Bob.
Hey, how you doing? Appreciate everything you guys do every week, even if you're not there on the replay. But I really appreciate everything you do, and
Well, thank
enjoy
you.
listening to your show.
Thank you very much. How can we help you?
Yeah, so the HSA thing, I had this encounter with me that I didn't hear you mention. So after the COVID, shut down, my employer, furloughed us. So I went ahead and did, what you had suggested, which is to reimburse myself for medical expenses to close the account out. But I forgot to do that as far as officially let them know. So what my plan does, I'm back to work, so it's the same plan. But if you leave the company either by retirement, furlough, quit, and you keep the HSA account open, they charge you a $5 fee monthly to keep the account open if you're not with the employer anymore. And then also, because I didn't do that, they reimbursed me, but I didn't tell them that I had closed the account out, and so that's why they kept doing it. So there's two things people have to do. They have to understand about the fee if they make you do that, and also you have to terminate the plan with them if you stop putting money in because the employer is not, you're not with the employer anymore.
Yeah, that's true. Some plans, because it's really sponsored through your employer, but then you can keep the plan on your own.
Yeah, so HSA accounts don't necessarily have to live with the plan that your employer sets it up at. So, for instance, if they set it up at a bank, which is very popular with HSA accounts, you can actually roll that like you do an IRA or a Roth IRA or any sort of other retirement plan into an HSA with another provider who doesn't necessarily charge those fees. So that's something to keep in mind, that HSAs are transferable. It doesn't have to necessarily stay with the employer plan, which is, like I said, usually a bank, which usually does not have the best investment options within it. So that is something that we've been working with clients a lot, is transferring their HSAs to other providers that have better investment options. So it's something to keep in mind. They are transferable. It doesn't have to stay with your employer plan.
You bring up a very good point, though, Bob, and probably most people aren't even aware of that. So I appreciate your letting our listeners know that you want to be careful when you leave your employer, that if possible you can roll over your plan to avoid that $5 or whatever charge they might have on a monthly basis.
Like I said, they hadn't. Sorry about that. They hadn't informed that to me. That. When that happened. So that was like I said, they were nice enough to reimburse me the fee, but then I got, back to work. So it started all over again with the brand new, deposits and everything. But mine's through Optum Bank. That's one of the banks.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm familiar with Optum, and they are one of those that does charge a maintenance fee. If you're not contributing, and a lot of the different providers do, and it's how they cover their administrative costs, and a lot of the providers also require that you keep a certain amount in cash if you're going to invest it. Like I know Optum does have the ability to invest their options or your money, but you have to also keep a certain amount in cash for distribution purposes if you're going to use it. So a lot of different HSA providers that are out there. A lot more companies are now offering HSAs as well. A lot of the custodians out there, the major ones, are offering HSAs as well. So you can shop around, look for what works best for you. if you do leave your employer. The problem with the employers is that they like to use one particular one because they're doing it through payroll deduction. It would be a massive headache trying to do payroll deduction to multiple different HSA providers. So I really appreciate the heads up, though, and thanks for the call, Bob, and thanks for being a loyal listener, too. We really
appreciate it very much.
And have a happy New Year.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the call. So before we take the next call, we want to remind our listeners we've got a workshop coming up, Aaron.
Oh, yes, we have several workshops coming up in 2025 because, that's next week. 2 workshops, and we do it in our state-of-the-art learning center here in our office. Gary Abley hosting Will Your Savings Last a Lifetime, January 4th. Again, that's a Saturday, 10 to 12. And Charles Curry, who is also taking calls off the air, is doing Social Security Planning Basics, January 15th. That's a Wednesday, I believe, from 6:30 to 8 p.m. here in our office. If you're interested or want to sign up or just want more information, go to our website, financialgroup.com, and you can register right there.
You're listening to On the Money, where we're planning tomorrow
Today
with the Certified Financial Group.
So you guys don't know Chicago, but I'm sure in your neighborhood you guys have an old school butcher where you walk in and there's a bunch of guys, no gloves, big white aprons, and there's Frank and there's Stevie and there's Mikey. And these guys know more about meat and more about animals and more about cooking the meat than any of us will ever learn. And so you walk in and you say, hey, Lou, I need to, I'm barbecuing this weekend, right? What do you like? And Lou goes to the big racks of stuff he has underneath the glass, and he goes, the veal chops, just in from Argentina, they are the bomb. And you go, veal, ooh, I like veal. Well, what do you got on skirt steak? Oh, we got some great skirt steak, just came in yesterday from Montana. Skirt steak is one of my favorite, marinated up a little bit, it's fantastic. Lou will never say to you, Elliot, it's a little long on the meat here, big guy, your cholesterol is getting high. Why don't you go down to the fishmonger a couple blocks and have a nice piece of salmon? Right? He'll never do that. Why? His job is to sell me meat, and I go in, actually the same way I go into the Toyota dealership, because I like Toyotas, and I trust the salesman to sell me a good product if I trust him. And the fact that he's got my interest at heart vis-a-vis my expectations for selling me that thing. By the same token, when I go to see a dietitian, I know she's going to look at all of my labs, she's going to take all the measurements, she's going to run all of her analysis, and she's going to absolutely give me her best thinking on what's best for me. Whether she's a vegetarian or a meat lover, likes this, likes that, if she thinks I should be doing something differently, even if it's not good for her, she's going to give me an opinion that's for my interest. So what's the difference between a fiduciary and the brokers? Well, these are dietitians, these are butchers. It's that simple. Brokers are butchers selling product. Fiduciaries are dietitians looking after your health. The problem is most people think that their butcher is a dietitian. So when one of your moms or dads or friends calls the broker and says, I got $200,000, I sold a little piece of property, or I got some inheritance, what should I do with it? They're going in thinking they're talking to a dietitian, and they're really talking to Lou the butcher.
What is a fiduciary? When it comes to investing, a fiduciary is legally required to act in your best interest. For 40 years, planners at Certified Financial Group have been guiding our local clients toward financial peace of mind. The rest of the world is still catching up, but our team of certified financial planners are the local, experienced fiduciaries you can trust. Certified Financial Group are your Central Florida planners. Call us today.
40 years ago, I had a dream of building the best personal financial consulting firm in Central Florida. Now, with 14 certified financial planners acting as fiduciaries, I believe we're there. But don't take my word for it.
As we approach retirement, we have the freedom of choice.
Peace of mind that we now have, that's everything to us.
The people that work here are honest and caring, and I feel like I can go to sleep at night.
So schedule your no-obligation visit today at financialgroup.com, or we're planning tomorrow, today. For more than 40 years, our certified financial planner professionals, acting as fiduciaries, have been providing retirement planning and asset management for a fee to countless families across Central Florida.
We've been with Certified since 1992.
We're now into the third or fourth generation of clients that have come to CFG and the team here to do a great job.
It's been so long since I've been doing this that I just don't even worry about anything anymore.
We're Certified Financial Group, where we're planning tomorrow, today. Our fiduciary approach of providing retirement planning and investment management for a fee seems to resonate with our clients. But don't take my word for it.
I knew a gentleman that I worked with who had come to Certified Financial Group.
A friend of mine recommended them, and they were totally correct how good they are.
I had heard from somebody else that it was the best one in town.
I've sent several of my teacher friends here.
We're Certified Financial Group, where we're planning tomorrow, today. You
Welcome back to On the Money here on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580, where you can also listen live on the WDBO app wherever you are this holiday season. Today we have Joe and Aaron Bert from the Certified Financial Group, and if you have any questions about your finances, just give us a call here at 844-580-9326. That's 844-580-WDBO, or you can utilize the open mic feature on the WDBO app. And don't forget, we have Charles Curry taking your calls off air at 407-869-9800. And now back to our hosts, Joe and Aaron.
We are back, and I see we got a call there, Greg, so let's tee it up.
We've got Jim out in Winter Park.
Good morning, Jim.
Hey, Jim.
Thanks for calling. How can we help you?
Hi, good morning. Yeah, what is the maximum you can put into a SEP IRA, Simplified Employment Plan? And then in addition, if you do that, can you also do a traditional IRA at the same time?
Well, the contribution limit for 2024 is $69,000 in a SEP. For 2025, it goes to $70,000, but it's a percentage of your income. Do you know how that works, Jim?
No, I don't. Okay, it's just a percentage.
Right.
Yeah, so it's not a straight dollar for dollar. So there's some math that has to go into that to figure out. Roughly 20% of your self-employment income can go into a SEP. And then depending on whether you're hitting, in the limit at $69,000 is what's called the 415 limit, and that's the maximum that you can take on any sort of contribute or any sort of tax deduction. So if you're not hitting the SEP limit, and then depending on what your income is, you may be able to do the IRA as well. But we'd have to run some calculations to see whether or not that IRA contribution would be deductible and how much you could actually put into your SEP. The good news is you have up until you file your taxes to make that contribution. So normally what happens is your tax preparer can run those calculations for you, let you know how much you can put into a SEP, and then let you know whether you're eligible for a traditional IRA or Roth IRA contribution.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome, Jim. Thanks for the call, and Happy New Year to you. All right, so we've got some text questions floated in there, right, Greg? I saw them.
Yeah, we've had a few come in throughout the hour. Let's go ahead and start with this one. What does the Fed interest rate cut do for me and my family? Why did the market react so negatively? That's the question from Tim out in Ocoee.
Well, I can tell you why the market reacted negatively, and then we can talk about how it may impact your family. Because the market in general is expecting more cuts, and lower interest rates generally means a higher stock market, and it's kind of waiting for Santa Claus to show up, and Santa Claus didn't show up with a full sleigh of toys, so the market got a little disgruntled, if you will, but it bounced back. So that's all part of investing and having a long-term horizon. So that's what happened there. Now, how interest rate cuts affect your family is really a function of what you're trying to do at the moment.
Yeah, so interest rates through the Federal Reserve cutting the short-term interest, and that the rate that they're cutting is really what they charge, what the banks charge each other to lend each other money. It's basically
overnight.
Yeah, the overnight
federal funds rate.
Federal funds rate. Got it. So it's what the banks are charging each other, and so this should technically drive a lot of interest rates, not just, you think mortgage rates, credit card loan rates, car rates, all those types of things is how it should really impact you. But really, we haven't seen any of that stuff start to really drop since they've been cutting rates. It's been kind of hanging out around where it was to begin with. The other thing we're seeing is savings rates starting to drop, though. So it's kind of a bad, they've been cutting rates. Mortgage rates and all that stuff still staying elevated, but the amount of money that you're earning on your money market or your high yield savings account, all that stuff has been dropping.
Right.
So it's kind of a weird thing that's been happening, and really, it has, the cut in interest rates hasn't really been that great, and it hasn't been filtering down really as a benefit to the consumer quite yet.
Yeah. So that's, although you see those drops, don't look for big changes in your credit card charges or your car purchases or home mortgages. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen for a while. In fact, the numbers that came out recently, they're still concerned about inflation.
Right.
And so, they were talking about 4 rate cuts next year. Now it's down to 2. So that impacted the market as well. But all things considered, things are still pretty good.
Yeah.
Yep. So I got another question there, Greg?
Yeah, we've got one from Jessica out in Claremont. It kind of has to do with some of the topics that we've touched on today. At work, they have the option to contribute to their 401k, either regular or Roth. But they also have an HSA. Which one should they contribute to?
Yeah, we get this question a lot, and especially we do manage some retirement plans for businesses, and so we go out and do enrollment meetings and talk to employees, and one of the things that's now offered a lot in plans is Roth, the Roth contribution amount, and a lot of the newer plans are all offering the Roth amount. Difference between Roth and traditional is when you put money into a traditional 401k or IRA, you get a tax deduction for the contribution that you put in. So it basically comes right off the top. You don't pay income taxes in that year. The money grows tax deferred, meaning you don't get a 1099 every year for the earnings or distributions that those investments make while in the retirement plan. But when you pull the money out later on down the road when you're retired and hopefully in a lower tax bracket, those contributions are taxed at that time. So money goes in, you get a tax deduction, grows without being taxed, comes out, you pay taxes on it. The Roth feature, you pay taxes, the contributions made with after-tax dollars, meaning you pay taxes today, the money goes in after tax, grows without being taxed, and then comes out theoretically tax-free. And we always say that's under current law because the government can always change the laws.
Which they have in
the past, they have. But they haven't done anything with Roth yet, but there's been some rumblings, but we won't, that's a topic for another show. But the Roth basically goes in after tax, grows without being taxed, comes out tax-free. So employers or employees actually have the option of whether making Roth contributions or traditional contributions within their 401k plans. And so what we always talk when you're trying to decide between those two things is what tax bracket are you currently in? And what we like to say is if you are less than 20% tax bracket, so your marginal rate is under 20%, then the Roth is a decent option to consider because you're not giving up much of a tax deduction today. So if you're less than 20%, consider the Roth. If you're over 20%, then you are giving up a pretty hefty tax deduction today for the promise of tax-free money in the future. So it's a little bit of a gamble because we do not know what future tax laws are going to be. But one thing to consider is if you're over that 20% tax bracket or in that 20% marginal tax bracket, consider doing traditional versus Roth. However, the health savings account is the best of both worlds. And we talked about this earlier today. So if you missed that conversation or just joining us, the HSA is the best of both worlds in that the money goes in tax deferred, meaning you don't pay taxes on your HSA contribution. It does grow without being taxed, and it comes out tax-free when used for qualified medical expenses. And so it's a kind of a combination of a Roth and a traditional, and it seems to really make sense for a lot of people, especially those people who can invest their HSA contributions. So if you're just putting money into an HSA and you are not able to invest it, then it doesn't necessarily make sense because it's sitting in cash and not earning anything, and you're losing out on that power of compounding, which is really what makes most people's retirement savings really work, is compounding, which is the idea that your investments make money and then the money that you made on your investments makes money and so on and so forth, and it grows over time. You really lose the power of compounding if your money is sitting in cash in a health savings account. So if you have the choice between the three, I would say the health savings account, you should be able to max that out, but only if you can invest it for the long run. So
I've always been a big believer in if you're in a higher tax bracket, something over and above 22%, to get the tax deduction today, because the tax deduction today is the bird in the hand, as opposed to a promise in the future that it's going to be tax-free. Who knows if it's going to be tax-free in the future, and that's a big chance you take. And a way to look at this is if you're in let's say the 24% tax bracket, you in order to have $1 to put in your Roth account, you have to earn $1.32. So take $1.32, take 24% off of that, and that leaves you with $1 to put in the Roth. Whereas you put the $1 in a pre-tax account, it only costs you 76 cents because you're getting a 24% tax deduction. So that's, keep that in mind, folks. And that's, to me, I want to get that bird in the hand today, which I know I've got as the tax deduction, as opposed to some promise in 20 years from now, I'm going to be able to take all my money out of my Roth on a tax-free basis. I still believe that somewhere down the road, the Roth is going to be means tested like it has been with Social Security before 1983, when Social Security was totally tax-free. And they said, if you're above a certain income limit now, you're going to have to pay some taxes on your Social Security. I think they're going to do that with the Roth somewhere down the road. So grab that bird in the hand today. As Aaron said, particularly if you're above the 22% or above tax bracket, grab that tax deduction today, as opposed to some promise in the future of tax-free income. So if you're in a lower tax bracket, it really doesn't make much difference. You get that, you're not giving up that much, and you're not taking that bigger risk. So that's my methodology or thinking for this morning. All right, Greg, I see you got another text float in there.
Yeah, we've got one last one. Seems like that it's come in. We've got John up in Maitland who's got a big decision. His company has offered him a lump sum pension instead of a monthly payment. What factors should he consider when making his choice?
Yeah, we get that question off a lot now as companies are beginning to phase out their pension plans. Question is, should I take that monthly check or should I grab the lump sum and run? So what do you advise, Aaron?
It depends.
Of course.
So this is a math question and a longevity question, and there's a lot of. So the question was what was it? What factors? Is that right? So what factors should you consider? So the factors to consider are what's the lump sum in relation to the payout. When would you get the lump sum versus the payout? So the timing of these distributions. What other income do you have? So do we have any other income sources that can help smooth out the volatility of taking the lump sum versus the pension amount? Are you married? Do you have beneficiaries that you want to leave money to? Because one thing people don't really think about is that if you do the pension versus the lump sum, and then you pass away and that pension stops, there's no money left to pass on to heirs if that's something that's important to you. Are you insurable for life insurance purposes? Because there may be a pension max opportunity here if taking the survivor benefit of the pension versus the single life benefit of the pension. Again, lots of different factors to consider. This is a great planning opportunity. If this is a question that you're faced with, is really looking at the numbers and seeing what works best for you and for your particular situation, because this is not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. There's a lot of factors that play into this, and it's a huge decision, especially if you've been working your whole life. You got this big pension benefit, but then you also have this big lump sum pot of money that's sitting there, and you need to help choose or figure out what you want to do.
Well, that's what we do as certified financial planners. When we do retirement planning, we look at where your sources of income are, what you've got coming in, and we like to be sure you got guaranteed money coming in. That's the benefit of a pension. But it doesn't make sense in all cases. And you touched on the pension max, which I think is a great opportunity. It doesn't work in all cases, but when it does work, I'll give you some real life examples. I've had clients retire from Lockheed Martin. Back in the day, it was called Martin Marietta. And they came and we did retirement planning, and it made sense for the worker, for the employee, to take the single life option. Now, what does that mean? That means that when he retired, he got the biggest check. Because if you take the survivor option, they reduce the amount of the check, because when you pass away as the worker, your surviving spouse will get something. And so what we advise in this particular case, in several cases, is you take the bigger check, but you take that differential between what the big check would be and what the survivor option would be, and there's a delta there. And you take that and you buy life insurance. And this way, as long as the employer is continuing living, he continues to get that big check for as long as he lives. And if his spouse should predecease, which happens in some cases, he gets that big check for his lifetime. And then that life insurance policy that they bought with the difference in the high check and what the survivor check is is a huge lump sum of money that's tax-free. And I can think of a handful of cases in my mind of some widows that we've been done planning for over the years, that their husband got that big check, and not unfortunately, but as nature would have it, he passed away first. And then she got this huge tax-free benefit and the life insurance that put her in far better financial condition than had they done the survivor benefit, and she got a smaller check for her lifetime. So those are the things to consider. It doesn't work in all cases, but when the case does work, it really works very, very well. So those are some of the decisions that you have to go through and see if it works in your particular case. And that's what Aaron and I and the 15 other certified financials do for our clients, deciding these courses to what to take, and we charge a fee for that. And want more information, go to our website. That's financialgroup.com, financialgroup.com. I hear the bumper music, Greg, so take it away.
That's right. And if you have any questions regarding what we've been talking about just now, or from our earlier topic today as far as tax changes coming in 2025, just give us a call here at 844-580-9326. That's 844-580-WDBO, or you can use the open mic in the WDBO app. You've been listening to On the Money, where we are planning tomorrow
today
with the Certified Financial Group.
You may be new to the area, but we're not. For more than 40 years, our certified financial planner professionals, acting as fiduciaries and providing retirement planning and asset management for a fee to countless families across Central Florida.
We've been with Certified since 1992.
We're now into the third or fourth generation of clients that have come to CFG and the team here to do a great job.
It's been so long since I've been doing this that I just don't even worry about anything anymore.
We're Certified Financial Group, but we're planning tomorrow, today. Black Monday, the dot-com bust, 9/11, and now 2 wars. We've pretty much seen it all. Acting as fiduciaries, our CFP professionals have been a steady hand guiding our clients to and through their retirement years.
No reason to be worried about anything.
Stay the course. You stay the course, and you get there.
I don't have to worry about it like I know a lot of people look at it every day. I don't have to do that with the team here at Certified Financial Group.
We're Certified Financial Group, but we're planning tomorrow, today. Are you tired of trying to reach your advisor through a call center and being put on hold for 20 minutes? That's why we don't use one, and our clients seem to appreciate the personal touch.
They always answer my questions and really care about what's going on with me.
You can trust what they say, and they do what they say, and it gives you a comfort feeling it's hard to find in the world today.
Waiting for you to call almost. You almost feel like that.
We're Certified Financial Group, but we're planning tomorrow, today.
As an investor, you want peace of mind. You need to know that your advisor is not only thoroughly competent, but also a fiduciary. In other words, he or she is acting at all times in your best interests. You need to trust your advisor, regardless of how much money you have to invest or what part of the world you're in. It might not be your money you're entrusting the advisor with. Perhaps you're a board member of a charity or foundation whose future depends on prudent investment. Or perhaps you have the responsibility of making investment decisions on behalf of other people. As the trustee of a retirement plan, the decisions you make can have a direct impact on the lives of your employees. Whatever type of investor you are, the solution is to use an advisor certified by the Center for Fiduciary Excellence. A CFEX certified advisory firm demonstrates its adherence to a global fiduciary standard of excellence, a defined standard with specific criteria covering 21 best practices. The documented, repeatable processes and the evidence-based decision-making that CFEX demands are more likely to generate investment portfolios that match client needs and expectations. And because the firm voluntarily agrees to a rigorous annual audit, investors can rest assured that their advisor continues to work to the highest professional standards. This independent verification is even more critical for trustees and investment committee members of retirement plans who are legally required to conduct regular due diligence on their service providers. Use a CFEX certified firm, and that job has been done already by an expert at no expense to the plan. So why leave anything to chance? Insist on working with investment professionals you can truly trust. Insist on using a CFEX certified advisor.
So you guys don't know Chicago, but I'm sure in your neighborhood you guys have an old school butcher where you walk in and there's a bunch of guys, no gloves, big white aprons, and there's Frank and there's Stevie and there's Mikey. And these guys know more about meat and more about animals and more about cooking the meat than any of us will ever learn. And so you walk in and you say, hey, Lou, I need to, I'm barbecuing this weekend, right? What do you like? And Lou goes to, the big racks of stuff he has underneath the glass, and he goes, the veal chops, just in from Argentina, they are the bomb. And you go, veal, oh, I like veal. What do you got on skirt steak? Oh, we got some great skirt steak, just came in yesterday from Montana. Skirt steak is one of my favorite, marinated up a little bit, it's fantastic.
Welcome back to On the Money here on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580. You can also listen live on the WDBO app wherever you are this holiday season. Today we have Joe and Aaron Bert from the Certified Financial Group. And if you have any questions about your finances, just give us a call here at 844-580-9326. That's 844-580-WDBO. Or you can utilize the open mic feature in the WDBO app. You can also call 407-869-9800, where Charles Curry is taking your calls off air. And now, back to Joe and Aaron.
Yeah, all things we talked about today regarding pensions and IRAs and 401ks and all that stuff. The good news is if you have any questions, you really want to see how all those plans impact your retirement, we've got a workshop coming up a week from today. Gary Abley, Certified Financial Planner, as well as a CPA, will be conducting a workshop. Starts at 10:30 on a Saturday morning. Or is it 10 o'clock? 10 o'clock. I'm sorry, it's 10 o'clock. 10 till noon on Saturday morning, January the 4th. And he'll be covering all those topics. And he's going to walk you through the things you need to consider and what to look for and some of the pitfalls that we have seen clients fall into before they became clients, things that you can avoid and what you need to do to protect yourself. So it's absolutely free. We hold it, as Aaron said, in our learning center here. It's a state-of-the-art facility with audio-visual equipment, can accommodate 30 people very comfortably. Gary really puts out a spread there for his workshop. So if you want to come by for breakfast, come on by at 10 o'clock next Saturday morning, and you walk away with maybe a full tummy and a lot of good information. Those are absolutely free. You go to our website. That's financialgroup.com. financialgroup.com. Click on events, and you can make your reservation right there. And that's going to be followed up by on January the 10th.
15th.
Oh, 15th. Boy, I'll get the dates right yet. January the 15th. Thank you, Aaron. January the 15th, Charles Curry, who's also taking calls off the air today on Social Security. And the things that you wish you would have known before you pulled the trigger on Social Security, the things that you need to know before you make that irrevocable decision about what survivor benefits are, what spousal benefits are, all those kinds of decisions that you're faced with. And as we say in the ad, the Social Security can only tell you what your options are. They can tell you can do this, you can do that, but they cannot tell you what's best for you and your family and your personal financial situation. So if you want more information about that, once again, go to our website. It's financialgroup.com, and you can make a reservation right there. That's Wednesday evening, January the 15th, starts at 6:30. 6:30, thank you, Aaron. 6:30 p.m., and we look forward to seeing you. I see we got a call coming in here. I wonder if we can catch it before the break here. Why don't you just put them on, Greg, and we'll take it live. Who knows what he wants to talk about? All right, you there, Greg? Maybe not. Okay, Greg is on the phone answering the call. Just as a reminder, we do Score My Funds. Yeah, go ahead. You there? We'll take the call. Go ahead.
Yes, I have a question about Social Security, if I may.
Sure.
I understand that, well, first of all, I thought that going to the Social Security office, one would get the accurate information you need, but I found that they don't seem to know a lot about some of the intricacies. But I thought, well, maybe you might know that say you take Social Security, but you decide against it. I realize you have one chance to do that, apparently, to cancel it.
It has to be done within the first year.
Right. But suppose that you do it again, which was my situation. But I'm told that you can pause it, and that all those months that you pause it, then it would be recalculated back in to a monthly amount to sort of give you that credit back. if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's
Does
called
that sound right?
it's called suspending your benefit.
Yeah.
Yes. You can suspend your benefit.
Very good. And also, if you say from 62 to 67, all 4 years, let's just say you made way more than the threshold, and you have to pay them all back. Will they also credit those months you pay back the same way?
My understanding is you are able to pay it back and then reset your benefit, but it has to be done within that first 12 months of paying back. So we do have the bumper music coming back on. If you want to talk about this further, you can call us on Monday, or you can call Charles Curry right now, 407-869-9800. Like I said, he's taking calls off the air, but we have a hard stop here in 14 seconds, so we got to go. We appreciate the call.
Before we sign off for the year, I want to wish all of our listeners a happy new year and look forward to seeing you in 2025.
You've been listening to On the Money, where we're planning tomorrow.
Today.
With the Certified Financial Group. Happy New Year.